What on earth do we read into this, Peter?
It's interesting, right? Because until now, at least, investors had largely shrugged off this threat of tariffs. Through the campaign, the night Donald Trump won, even as he quite repeatedly said he was going to impose the biggest trade barriers we've seen in like 100 years, markets mostly ignored him. And, all of those deadlines came and went. Businesses and consumers and politicians are all pulling out their hair trying to figure out what this was going to mean and how they should react. Markets were largely unmoved, at least in part, Adrienne, because investors simply didn't believe him. They know the president often has more bluster than bite. In 2016, remember, he said he was going to tear up NAFTA. And in the end, yeah, they made some changes on the margins, but as a result of that, trade actually increased 30% in trilateral trade between Canada, Mexico, and the US. So they saw this as a tactic. They saw this as a way to negotiate more concessions. And they kind of said, call us when he actually does something. So today, as Trump spoke in the White House, investors finally saw reason to act, and they acted. And stocks sold off pretty sharply.
And if you zoom out, what specifically are the markets fearing here? Is it uncertainty? Is it just the pain this is going to inflict?
It's all of that, right? We talk a lot about how bad this will be for the Canadian economy, but this is going to be bad for the American economy as well. The American Tax Foundation has said these sweeping tariffs could be like imposing a $130 billion tax on American households. It says the move would shrink American incomes by 1.2%. The price of gasoline is now projected to rise like 40 cents per gallon in northeastern states. Remember, when tariffs were imposed on steel and aluminum, tens of thousands of jobs were lost. Washington had to offer like a $30 billion bailout to industries. That's bad for business, it's bad for the economy, and eventually markets had to price it in.